teman-teman yang join malam hari ini. Jadi Points of View ini tools yang berbasis visual untuk bantu kita menemukan sudut pandang yang baru melalui media foto, juga bisa jadi tools untuk bantu kita coaching atau pendampingan jadi lebih efektif seperti itu. Nah, nanti akan ada prosesnya nih bareng tools Points of View ya. Semoga bisa mindful teman-teman, sehingga bisa merasakan toolsnya seperti apa gitu ya. Nah, sebelum kita masuk ke proses, saya mau ada info sedikit nih, untuk pembelajaran yang barangkali ini juga cocok untuk Bapak, Ibu, kakak-kakak semuanya ya. Jadi di tanggal 24, 25 Oktober kita akan ada coaching festival, ini juga acara tahunan kita, jadi setiap tahun pasti ada, dan di tahun ini kita, mengambil tema Live the Compass gitu ya. Kenapa sih kok ambil tema ini gitu ya, kita akan belajar, dari samurai gitu ya. Wah, kenapa nih samurai gitu ya. Nah, kita akan cari tahu saat, festival ini gitu ya. Belajar dari samurai, kita juga akan, belajar dari Wealth and Joy, jadi ini kayak board game gitu Bapak Ibu. Nah, kita akan belajar bisa, gimana sih caranya kuat, menghadapi keadaan-keadaan yang tidak pasti, juga, belajar mengambil keputusan di momen-momen yang penting. Kita semua akan belajar, di Live the Compass ini ya. Catat tanggalnya 24 sampai 25 Oktober. Yang mau info lebih detailnya boleh terkoneksi dengan Kak Putri ya, bisa scan barcode yang ada di layar atau bisa klik link yang ada di kolom chat gitu ya. Nanti tim kami akan bantu linknya. Oke, nah kita juga ada akademi di bulan ini. Jadi teman-teman yang nanti sekiranya setelah main, "Oh aku penasaran nih gimana cara mendalami toolsnya gitu ya. Nah, kita akan ada sesi belajar Hello Point Workshop itu tanggal 26 Oktober di Jakarta. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang ingin tahu mempelajari lebih dalam tentang points of view, boleh langsung connect sama Kak Putri ya. Tanya-tanya aja infonya seperti apa. Nah, teman-teman yang udah ada di level 1 boleh, kalau mau level up ya ke level 2, kita akan ada di bulan Desember. Nah, siapa tahu mau ngeplot jadwal dulu nih ya, langsung connect sama Kak Putri untuk, plot jadwalnya ya. Nah, kita juga ada switch on retreat di tahun depan gitu ya. Kak, masih jauh nih, masih April, nggak apa-apa juga ya. Karena kita retreat jadi butuh waktu yang lama, 22 sampai 26 April. Bapak Ibu barangkali mau plot jadwalnya terlebih dahulu, mau, booking jadwalnya, tanggal ini saya tidak bisa diganggu gitu ya, mau ke Switch on Retreat boleh juga, atau masih mau tanya-tanya ngapain aja sih di Switch on Retreat gitu ya, boleh terkoneksi dengan Kak Putri. Karena fasil kita pada malam hari ini tuh juga sebenarnya lulusan dari Switch on Retreat batch pertama, gitu Bapak Ibu. Jadi boleh ya, kalau mau tanya-tanya sama Kak Putri langsung aja terkoneksi, boleh scan barcode yang ada di layar atau klik link yang ada di kolom chat. Good, seperti itu. Nah, oke, kalau Bapak Ibu udah bersiap, dari koneksinya gitu ya, mau nyiapin tuh, catatan, bolpen, kertas, boleh juga. Atau mungkin mau siapin snack, cemilan, boleh juga, nggak apa-apa ya, biar kita nggak terlalu tegang, nggak terlalu serius gitu ya. Kita santai aja, tapi tetap mindful untuk ikut prosesnya, untuk ikut sesinya. Dan kita juga, mari memanfaatkan kolom chat untuk kita saling sharing gitu ya. Nanti kalau misalnya Fasil juga meminta untuk sharing, silahkan aja langsung open mic boleh, di kolom chat juga boleh ya, bebas. Kita akan, sama-sama sharing berproses nih, bareng-bareng gitu ya. Nah, pada malam hari ini kita mau bahas tentang apa sih gitu ya, kita mau bahas from toxic to thriving. Seperti apa sih, toxic to thriving itu gitu ya. Nah, nanti kita akan lihat prosesnya ya bareng. Nah, Kak Sabrina Koirunisa gitu. Panggilannya biasanya Kak Sab gitu ya, Kak Sabrina bolehlah bebas, yang penting jangan nama yang lain gitu ya, boleh. Nah, Kak Sabrina ini practitioner Points of View Indonesia dan juga tadi lulusan dari Switch On Retreat itu ya. Bapak Ibu, boleh kalau mau connect dengan Kak Sabrina, silahkan di-follow Instagramnya, ada di Sabrina KS ya, ada di layar Anda, seperti itu. Oke, nah tanpa berlama-lama, mungkin teman-teman sudah penasaran ya prosesnya kayak gimana. Langsung aja kita panggil Kak Sabrina. Silahkan. Kita boleh kasih emoticon nih, hati, buat menyambut Kak Sabrina.
Hey
Oke,
everyone. Okay,
silakan Kak Sabrina.
hang on, yeah. I hope my connection's great. Sesi aku nanti kayak mix-mix bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Indonesia ya. Cause kurang canggih bahasa Indonesianya. Hang on, let me go to my screen. Okay. First of all, thank you to everyone who came today. This is a very personal sharing for me. And I hope in this session kita bisa hold each other's spaces. But to start with, actually aku juga udah ikut points of view dari L3, L2 sama L1. I'm actually like very fortunate for this opportunity. And this session is called From Toxic to Thriving, where I will be talking about my experience going through a toxic relationship and how I navigated through getting out of it and recovering from it. Gitu. So next, ini kisi-kisi hari ini ya guys. Jadi we're identifying toxic relationships. Jadi I'm going to define it in a way that I think fits me and my situation at the time, spotting the signs and what actually happens in a relationship because it really starts off like any other relationship, right? And it can really be a relationship not only with your life partner, but it can also be a relationship with anyone that's in your life juga gitu. So I'm going to share how it unfolded for me over time and what you can do to get out of one. So as someone in a relationship, what should you do? And someone out of the relationship, what can you do? And how we recover after a toxic relationship. So I want to share how you can help yourself and help others if you've been through it. Gitu. So before I move on to my next slide, there's a trigger warning. I will be talking about mental and physical abuse. So just to let everyone know and level out the playing field. Dan sebelum aku mulai, sebenarnya aku pengen tanya, di sini ada nggak ya yang pernah go through a toxic relationship? Dan kalau misalnya you're here just to help your coachees, juga bisa dikasih tahu. Jadi if you've been through it, please type 1 in the chat. And then if you haven't been through it, if you're just trying to help someone or just trying to get a sense of what it is, mungkin bisa type 2 gitu. Nanti aku tinggal baca di chat. Okay. So before I start, please remember that the healing process is not linear. It's different for everyone. It's different for me and the next person. So please remember to be kind to everyone and let's move on. Okay, so what I hope you'll take away from this session is actually to get a more holistic understanding of what a toxic relationship is and what they look like. Jadi, I because it's kind of multifaceted and like gak semua orang tahu mungkin dari awal tanda-tanda halus toxic relationship itu seperti apa. And it's also an opportunity and a safe space for everyone to reflect on past relationships and experiences, and we can get to know the first steps to help yourself and help others. Okay. So, actually, like in my definition, toxic relationship is actually a relationship where someone feels controlled, belittled, and treated unfairly. Jadi it can really happen to anyone gitu ya. Jadi biasanya kayak merasa dikucilkan, merasa dikontrol, terus kayak diperlakukan tidak sama gitu, tidak equal. Terus what are the signs actually? Sebenarnya the signs are, for me, gaslighting, possessiveness, control, isolation from friends and family, feeling like you have to walk on eggshells, artinya kayak setiap kalian di sekeliling orang ini, kalian jadi nggak bisa menjadi diri kalian sendiri gitu. Jadi aku harus selalu berhati-hati kalau misalnya waktu itu aku deket mau ngomong sama mantan aku atau mau ngomong ke orang lain sebelah mantan aku seperti itu. Terus, sabotaging your relationship with others, misalnya, my ex at the time would go out of his way to make sure that I have no friends, and every single new connection that I build bakal diakhirin sama dia, gitu. Jadi that's like kind of one way to describe sabotaging your relationship, and like verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive. I would just like to highlight yang ini karena kalau misalnya sudah sampai titik itu, I think it's time to reevaluate where you are in the relationship, gitu. Uh, it can present differently in others. Mungkin ada kakak-kakak di sini yang pernah melewati toxic relationship atau mempunyai coachee yang mungkin sedang di toxic relationship, dan tanda-tandanya mungkin sebenarnya either bisa lebih severe, lebih parah, atau lebih light dan terselubung daripada ini, gitu. Itu yang mungkin kita harus take note gitu ya. Um, okay, so moving on. So I would like to go deeper into what happened to me in my toxic relationship. Actually, it really started off like any other relationship. Aku kenal sama dia tuh pas aku di kantor. We met through friends and as you would with anyone gitu ya. Terus he started showing red flags along the way. Dia mulai gaslighting aku. Cause for some context, I actually started a food business with my ex. And like I didn't actually have any intentions of moving into F&B, despite the fact that I actually really loved food gitu. Tapi every time I said no or every time I showed a little bit of disinterest, dia pasti bakal gaslight into saying that, "Oh, ini mimpi kita bareng-bareng," gitu. Padahal enggak juga gitu. Like it was your dream and it wasn't mine. I had my own dreams gitu. Terus like he started becoming controlling, and it was in little things, It was at the beginning like, "Oh, you don't need to come with me. I don't want you to meet my friends." Or misalnya datangnya jam 10 aja deh because I don't want you to meet certain people. And that happened one too many times. But it happened in such a minute scale that I didn't even know that it was happening gitu. And he would control what I wear, he would control who I talk to, and he would filter out everyone that I was friends with, which was really unhealthy. And he really went out of his way to do it for me. But remember that all of these signs, again, doesn't only present in a life partner. It can also happen with somebody from your workplace. It can also happen to you from your friends, or misalnya kayak from family members as well gitu. Jadi ini tidak menutupi kemungkinan that it's only your partner gitu. Terus then it started becoming a bit more severe, like abuse and manipulation. So it actually started like slowly he was being verbally abusive in front of my colleagues, in front of my friends. And because kita tuh dulu kerjanya kayak pop-up di restoran, jadi kita bakal pinjam kitchen restoran orang lain, so I would constantly work with new people. Nah, di situ dia teriak-teriakin aku in the name of kayak, "Oh, ini sebenarnya this is what kitchen work is like." Jadi dia membodohi aku, and he was verbally abusive to me in front of my peers in the name of kitchen work, which is not fair kan. And I was constantly humiliated in front of friends. He would find a way buat kayak bawa urusan dapur dari rumah gitu untuk ke ranah teman-teman kita dan pekerjaan kita gitu. So what I went through was actually like the manipulation of he tried to control me, and then he would guilt trip me. Jadi misalnya uh, aku merasa tidak nyaman tentang something that he's doing gitu. Terus nanti dia akan bilang kayak, apa namanya, "Sebenarnya that's me, kamu gak sukanya sama aku." He would make me feel bad about feeling what I'm feeling when it's actually normal gitu kan. Terus he would force me to apologize padahal dia yang salah sama aku. And then suddenly things would get better because I apologized. And itu akan menjadi cycle yang terus-terusan lagi. Balik lagi dia mencoba kontrol aku, and then he would guilt trip me again, and then he would make me apologize again, and then it went on for 2 years gitu. And it's so subtle, tapi kayak it became second nature to me. Gimana sih kayak orang belajar kayak bersepeda dengan cara yang salah, and then kalian bersepeda dengan cara yang salah terus gitu until akhirnya kakinya kepelitek because you did it wrongly gitu. So that's kind of what happened to me. And then this was like when it started getting a bit more severe, he actually isolated me from my family and friends to the point where he made me believe that everyone in my life was against me, against our relationship, to the point that I left gitu. Aku akhirnya cabut dari Jakarta. I left my family behind. I left my friends behind. Essentially everything that I knew for 8 months. And he convinced me that everything was okay gitu. In result that like akhirnya I ended up losing myself. I didn't know who I was when I was in Hong Kong. And quite frankly, itu selama 2,5 tahun aku di hubungan itu sama dia, itu tuh dia pelan-pelan make sure bahwa aku tuh nggak akan inget diri aku sendiri. Jadi I was a part of him as much as he was a part of me. And that's not healthy for anyone who is in a relationship. Jangan pernah seperti itu. Maintain your identity, maintain your individuality. Jadi I lost myself completely to the point where I was so disoriented sampai I was okay to leave gitu. So before I move on, aku pengen tahu what kind of toxic relationships you guys have been into. What is the nature? And maybe if you're not comfortable with sharing it, you don't need to. But if you are, please write it in the chat so I get like a little bit of a sense and I can kind of drive the sharing there gitu.
Ya, mungkin barangkali, tadi kalau dari Kak Sabrina kan, keren ya cerita pengalaman pribadi gitu ya Kak Sabrina, tentang relationship yang sebelumnya bersama pasangan gitu ya. Nah, mungkin barangkali dari teman-teman, Bapak Ibu yang malam hari ini hadir, toxic relationship ini apa sih? Kayak nggak melulu soal pasangan ya, Kak Sabrina ya sebenarnya.
Yeah,
Bisa juga, mungkin dari pertemanan gitu ya, relationship dari pertemanan atau di tempat kerja, atau mungkin di keluarga pun juga bisa gitu ya. Atau mungkin di, komunitas atau pertemanan gitu ya, dimanapun sebenarnya ya, karena relationship ini bisa, apa ya, terjadi di mana saja gitu. Nah boleh, Bapak Ibu share nih, apa namanya, apa sih yang, Anda alami gitu ya, tanda-tanda yang Bapak Ibu, teman-teman sadari ketika mengalami, "Wah ini udah toxic relationship," gini, "Ini apa ini tandanya?" Mungkin begitu ya, Kak Sabrina ya? Boleh deh
betul.
share di kolom chat.
Betul, betul.
Mending pacaran
Tuh.
sama bawang daripada sama dia yang bikin nangis.
Nah, gue motong bawang aja nggak nangis. Masa dibikin nangis sama laki-laki?
Nah,
Gitu.
tuh. Mungkin, Bapak Ibu ada pengalaman yang lain nih, nggak mesti harus, sama pasangan gitu.
Oh my, like one of my friends are sharing. Thank you, Akila. She shared emotional, verbal, and financial abuse. Terus sama juga nangis tiap hari sampai matanya bengkak. Betul. That's actually what it was like for me. Thank you, Akila, for sharing. Terus ada Buliana sharing when the other person keeps crossing your boundaries. Correct. That's precisely what a toxic relationship can be like. Thank you for sharing, Buliana. Okay. So next, as we do with every points of view session, we are gonna pause. So I invite you to close your eyes, sit comfortably, and then relax, and we can hold each other's spaces gitu. Aku stop sharing dulu karena nanti yang sharing lagu Ellen. Jadi sebentar. Oke.
Oke, saya bantu share musiknya. Nah, barangkali nanti di momen pause ini juga jadi momen Bapak Ibu untuk, apa ya, merefleksikan gitu ya, selama ini apakah benar ya aku ada di momen atau ada di fase toxic relationship gitu ya. Dan sebenarnya apa sih yang aku rasain, apa yang aku alamin gitu. Oke, ada beberapa pertanyaan, mungkin nanti kita bisa jawab ya. Oke, kita pause dulu. Saya putarkan satu lagu. Semoga lagunya bisa menemani pause Bapak Ibu. Boleh sambil bersandar, boleh sambil tutup mata, ambil posisi yang nyaman. Oke, enjoy.
Hi everyone. Thank you for sitting with us in the pause. Oke, sebelum aku move on lagi, sebentar ya, aku share dulu screen-nya. Oke. Oke, can. Okay, before I move on to our next process, I would like to ask everyone how they're feeling. Let's do a quick check-in. Um, Like, how do you feel after the pause? Was there anything that came up for you? Anything interesting? Gitu. Masukin di chat aja ya, guys ya.
How do you feel, Bapak Ibu, setelah mendengarkan lagu Pulse yang sudah diberikan oleh Kak Sabrina nih? Bu Kitty kasih emoticon love putih nih. Apakah artinya menjadi tenang?
Okay, before I move on, should I get to the questions a
Oh,
little
mau
bit?
peluk
Ya,
tangan.
boleh ya. Okay, so tadi in relation to what I shared earlier, tadi mana sih? Eh, dari Kanovi. Biasanya tidak sadar, tanya Kak Sabrina, biasanya tidak sadar kalau itu toxic pada titik apa? Sebenarnya for me, it was when my friends started to become uncomfortable to be around me. Karena waktu itu I had a Velcro boyfriend yang dia ngikutin aku kemana-mana, aku ngelakuin apapun itu harus sama dia. Nah di titik itu kayak pas teman-teman aku juga udah gak nyaman sama aku juga, aku yang kayak wait, like I don't think I was the problem. I think the problem was uh my ex gitu karena aku juga nggak apa-apa and then they started coming to me and sharing with me out of their interest to protect me. Baru mereka akhirnya ngomong kayak I think this person is not good for you gitu. I hope itu menjawab pertanyaannya Kak Novi gitu. Satu lagi kalian boleh nggak?
Oke, boleh-boleh Kak. Ini juga ada pertanyaan nih dari Bu Yanti.
Oke. Bedanya toxic relationship dengan control freak. I think it's okay to be a control freak in certain situations. Tapi with toxic relationships ya, bener itu kayak biasanya meliputi hal-hal yang di luar relationship itu, yang hal-hal di luar control of a certain situation. Bu Yanti pertanyaannya berat banget ya gitu. Tapi sebenarnya waktu itu it's because like I can be a control freak myself when it comes to certain parts and areas of my life. Tapi during my toxic relationship itu benar-benar semua aspek-aspek di hidup aku itu dikontrol sama dia, apapun itu. Jadi the moment that starts becoming to me ya, the moment that started becoming my whole life, like he started becoming my whole life, I think that was when I knew that it was a toxic relationship. Gitu. Oke. Mamaku katanya kangen mantan pacar loh habis dengan pertemuan dalam waktu. Oke, anything else? Aku move on dulu ya. Nanti I'll circle back to the questions. Gitu. Oke, kita ke proses kita yang pertama, teman-teman. Jadi, sebenarnya I wanted to do a quick check-in of what everyone's state of mind is at the moment. Jadi kayak kalian sekarang tuh lagi ngerasain apa sih? What's on your mind? Jadi aku sudah dibantuin pilih sama Ellen juga kartu-kartu ini. Jadi you can take your time. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes untuk melihat kartu-kartunya. Jadi tadi pertanyaannya adalah what is your current state of mind? And I invite you to look at all the photos and you can either write it down atau you can just take it in for yourself. Jadi ada 6 foto di sini, kalian boleh pilih satu atau buat kakak-kakak yang punya deck flow, bisa dipilih dari deck flow-nya. Gitu. Jadi, what do you see in the photo? Terus you can maybe look at the background, the figures, the little details. Ada nggak kira-kira di foto ini yang pop out buat kakak-kakak? Terus kalau misalnya detail itu signifikan, why is it significant? Terus kalau misalnya bisa dibayangin nih, 1 menit sebelum foto itu dijepret, 1 minute before you take the photo, what do you think happened? Terus, a minute after the photo is taken, what would happen? Atau mungkin kakak merasa there's something that's not complete dengan fotonya. And if there is, what is it? Apa yang mau ditambahin? Gitu. Atau mungkin you want to place yourself in the photo. Kakak mau masukin diri kakak sendiri ke fotonya. Dan kalau misalnya ditaruh kakak masuk ke foto itu, kakak di foto apa? Di bagian mana maksudku? Sorry. Terus, do you dislike or like the photo at all? And why? Terus, is there any emotions, any feelings, any memories that come up? Mungkin kita bisa mulai sharing. Whenever you are ready, we are here to hold each other's spaces.
Ya, tadi mungkin Bapak Ibu, kakak-kakak boleh drop nomor yang kartu yang dipilih ya di kolom chat. Nah, dari nomor yang sudah dipilih, seperti yang tadi sudah apa difasilkan ya oleh Kak Sabrina. eh, apa sih yang terjadi di gambar itu? Terus untuk menjawab pertanyaan bagaimana perasaan hari ini melalui gambar yang ada di layar. Nah, apa nih yang teman-teman kakak-kakak rasain? Gitu ya, Sabrina.
Yes, betul.
Oke, mungkin ada yang mau sharing nih yang udah pilih angka.
Open mic dong, open mic.
Ya, open mic boleh. Banyak yang pilih 4 nih. Ah ya, banyak yang pilih 4. Kenapa tuh?
Sama dong, sama aku.
Mungkin Kak Akila mau share. Atau Kak Novi mau share kenapa nih pilih 4. Karena nomor 4 yang paling banyak nih.
Popular choice, popular choice.
Oke. Kak Novi barangkali mau share. Atau Bu Eka mau share. Kenapa kok pilih nomor 4?
Hmm, aku pilih nomor 4 itu karena in between di sini aku melihat maknanya adalah not really in relationship tapi in apa tempat kerja toksiknya. Jadi in between
Hmm.
itu adalah cut with the people yang secara nggak sadar ternyata membuat kita berpikir baik-baik saja ternyata tidak, itu not easy. It's quite challenging gitu kan. So in between itu journey-nya eh kalau aku boleh bilang itu ya udahlah aku heal buat aku gitu loh, terserah mereka gimana di sana gitu. Ya jalanin aja satu-satu. So in between kadang-kadang masih suka ngeliat lagi kok teman aku ya tapi kok kayak bukan ya gitu, tapi maju lagi gitu. So makna in between buat aku seperti itu, jadi kayak yang minum penengok gitu ya, kayaknya di sana masih seru, pengen ke sana tapi kan di sana nggak baik buat aku. So itu sih in betweennya aku. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Kak Novi.
Berarti Kak Novi ini tentang teman, pekerjaan gitu ya. Nah, teman-teman yang lain boleh juga nih, nggak harus dalam hubungan pasangan ya Sabrina ya. Bisa juga di
Betul.
Kak Novi, bisa di area tempat kerja atau mungkin di lingkungan pertemanan atau keluarga mungkin ya. Boleh nih di-share.
There's another sharing in the comment section. Thank you so much, Akila, for sharing with us. She said, I think going through the motions of life makes you feel like you're always in between one stage of life to the next. Feels like after a cup of coffee where you have your enjoyment and peace, and then comes the payment, your consequences. I agree with that. Thank you so much, Akila, for sharing. Okay. So keep this in mind karena nanti along tonight we're going to be processing a couple of things. It's gonna get deeper, but please, this is a safe space. Anyone yang bisa sharing if they're comfortable, please share. Gitu. Okay. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide, Ellen.
Oke.
Okay, so with the understanding tadi kita kan udah ngomongin toxic relationships and we already picked out our cards. Dan yang keluar adalah perasaan ketidaknyamanan ataupun kayak the realization that maybe we should already get out of it gitu kan. So I would like to segue into getting out of a toxic relationship. Jadi pertama, aku ngomongin dulu if you are in the relationship, what do you do? Gitu. So first is to ground yourself. It's to get a check of where you are and who you are is very important. Karena kadang-kadang in moments in time when you're in conflict, you kind of lose yourself, which is what happened to me. Jadi it's very important to do a check-in. It can easily disillusion you or disorient you gitu. It can be sebenarnya grounding tuh nggak harus yang kayak oh kita harus ke tempat sesuatu yang kayak kita nyentuh tanah atau enggak. It can be as simple as maybe eating your favorite snack. It can be as simple as taking a walk, listening to music that you like, which was what worked for me. And finding moments of silence, even if it's just 3 to 4 minutes kayak kita tadi pause, itu kan juga bisa mencari waktu dan tempat untuk grounding gitu. And second is to talk to someone about it. Then talking to someone about it really helped me. Sebenarnya it really helped talking to someone that I trust, talking to someone that I consider my safe space, and someone who is ready to listen. Karena kadang-kadang situasi itu, it can be really severe, even more severe than what I went through, or it can be simple. Dan itu pun, it's very nice to talk to someone yang udah siap ngedengerin, udah siap validating gitu. Like in extreme conditions, like my situation, it was very important for me to gather evidence, which was something that I failed to do. Gitu. Jadi sekarang pas aku moving on with the case, it was kind of difficult to kind of piece together the case when Indonesian law is a bit complicated, as you may know. So if you do have evidence, misalnya you're physically abused or there's like texts that they sent you, if you have images, keep them. If you can't look at them in your photo gallery, keep them in a folder where you know that you'll be able to revisit when you need it. Gitu. Terus, one last thing in here is to identify your resources. Jadi di sini aku taruh toolbox karena itu kelihatan kan toolboxnya ada. There's a wrench, there's a shovel, there's a gardening glove, ada meteran. It's what I'm trying to say is to leverage on anything and everything that you can leverage on. Buat aku waktu itu, it was money, time, and my people, my network. Jadi dari situ, when I was able to know, okay, I need this much to get out of the relationship. I need this amount of time to be able to kind of know where I can go to feel safe. And then, actually for me, it was cara grounding aku adalah dengerin lagu-lagu Lady Gaga waktu itu. Because she was somebody that I grew up with. And it helped me when I was being bullied when I was younger. And it helped me again to get out of a toxic relationship. Jadi waktu itu resource aku kebetulan adalah konser Lady Gaga di Singapura. Jadi when I went to the concert in Singapore, some of my friends are here. Thank you for coming. And I had a network of people di situ yang akhirnya ngebantuin aku get out of the relationship. Like it was very important that my friends were ready to receive me, and it was so good to be around people that validated like my situation gitu. Jadi itu bantu aku grounding, tapi itu juga akhirnya menjadi resource aku buat kayak karena aku bisa grounding, aku bisa menentukan kayak okay, what's my next steps from here gitu. Jadi next sebenarnya aku mau ngomongin juga kayak kakak-kakak di sini kan banyak yang coaches nih gitu. So how can you guys help somebody who is in a toxic relationship gitu? Pertama, it's to be their safe space. Karena pastinya somebody who is in a toxic relationship, be it with anyone ya, itu pasti akan merasa vulnerable. Karena pasti akan merasa bahwa kayak, aduh boundaries gue nih yang kena gitu. Jadi be their safe space, be ready to listen because they're usually vulnerable and reluctant to share. Karena defining toxic relationship in itself itu juga very difficult. Jadi if you just can't be their safe space, their safe bubble, itu udah ngebantu banget. And next is being an affirmative listener. Not only a listener ya, tapi affirmative in a sense where you are able to validate their feelings, tapi juga be firm that what they're going through is not okay. And you need to feel like their situation itu real. Karena buat aku kayak karena lack of grounding, I was around people that I didn't like, I was not comfortable with. It helped talking to people that told me that my situation was as real as anything else. And it helped me realize that we are not crazy. Kayak aku nggak gila untuk ngerasa seperti ini. I wasn't crazy trying to get out of this relationship myself. And it's if you can help someone, you can help them, guide them to resources that are available. If you guys are coaches, maybe you can offer your hand, your like listening ear, whatever it is gitu. Atau misalnya it can be something as simple as giving them an article of what a toxic relationship is. Karena mungkin ada di antara kita yang nanti mungkin ketemu orang atau sedang melaluinya yang kayak belum nyaman untuk ngomongin itu gitu. Jadi coba deh kita baca-baca aja dulu, ini bener nggak sih gitu. If you tick all the boxes, then maybe you're going through it gitu. Dan buat I was shared like somebody shared it with me this morning. Ibu Nona, thank you so much. It's called Project XO. It's on Instagram. You can lead your friends to that page. Di situ tuh ada banyak banget teman-teman yang sharing tentang their abuse, their toxic relationships. Nah, di situ you'll know that you're not alone, which is very important for people who are in a toxic relationship. And next is to be direct and very honest. Tapi ada caranya untuk menyampaikannya biar orang ini tuh tidak merasa bahwa dia tuh dikucilkan. Masa orang yang udah dikucilin lo mau dorong lagi ke corner gitu kan nggak mungkin. Jadi you need to be able to share it properly and in the most compassionate way possible. Gitu. So there is a right way to share it, and you have to be careful to not alienate them. People in a toxic relationship already feel alone. So don't make them feel like they're even lonelier. You need to be their friend, their thinking partner, if you are deciding to be there for them. Gitu. So Ellen, can I answer some of the questions that I had earlier? Okay, do we have time? Okay. Tadi ada, wait, sorry, let me scroll up a little bit. Okay. Rehan asked me a question actually. Kak, gimana caranya buat ngejalanin atau lewatin when you're already in a denial phase di mana kita tahu hubungan itu nggak worth it untuk dilanjutin, tapi kita memilih untuk bertahan dan mikir kalau pasangan itu bakal berubah. So, actually from my experience, they don't change. Kayak unfortunately, they do not change. It's when you've gone through a pattern, misalnya kayak yang tadi aku ceritain kan, dari kontrol, terus dia guilt tripping, dia nyuruh aku apologize, suddenly things get better, terus dia kontrol lagi gitu. Tapi genggaman yang kedua itu akan lebih kencang, makin kencang, makin kencang. Tapi kalau misalnya sekiranya cycle itu beda buat kamu, nah itu di situ you already know that you're kind of apa ya, kayak ngebuka buku, terus udah tahu nih endingnya tuh kayak gimana, ngapain dibaca lagi gitu. Sebenarnya what you can do again itu grounding yang kayak tadi aku kasih tahu. Kayak sebenarnya grounding itu juga menjadi waktu untuk misalnya siapapun yang lagi ngelewatin ini, eh gimana sih kayak what am I actually feeling? Gitu kayak is it fair that this is happening to me terus-terusan? If you already know it's not worth it, then maybe it's time to identify your resources. Gimana caranya you can healthily get out of it? Dan kayak maybe you can talk to friends atau apakah ada articles that you can read to help you gitu. What else? Sebenarnya kayak to get out of it itu juga grounding itu salah satu caranya mempersiapkan diri untuk preparing untuk sendiri nih gitu. Tapi one thing you need to remember, friends, the best resource that you have is yourself. Jadi sebenarnya gimana caranya kalian menguatkan diri sendiri? Like how can you make yourself stronger in the face of something toxic? Gitu. I hope that answers your question. And if it doesn't, please put it in the comment. Thank you so much. Can we move on to our next slide? We're moving on to our next process.
Ya,
Jadi,
mungkin sebelum, nah ini kan pertanyaan selanjutnya ya, Sabrina. Mungkin di sini juga kan Bapak Ibu yang datang malam hari ini banyak yang coach nih, mungkin banyak yang justru mendampingi klien yang lagi ada di toxic relationship nih. Nah, gitu. Jadi penasaran juga ya kita, Sabrina, dengerin atau melihat resource-resource apa yang Bapak Ibu coach ini punya malam hari ini, gitu ya. Oke, boleh lanjut, Sabrina.
okay. So next itu after talking about how we can get out of it, I'm gonna invite everyone here to look at what their resources are. Nanti seperti yang pertama, udah ada 6 kartu yang aku pilihin. Thank you so much, Ellen, for helping me. Jadi di sini kita ada kartu 6. Sama kayak tadi, jadi kita pilih lagi. Like, which of these cards can be your greatest resource?
Boleh
Gitu.
drop di kolom chat, pilih nomor yang berapa ya, kakak-kakak, bapak ibu.
Yeah. You can take your time and please take your time. Sama kayak tadi. Thank you so much yang semua yang tadi udah sharing kenapa mereka pilih kartu yang pertama. Gitu. Jadi lagi apa yang dilihat? Ada nggak detail-detail yang sekiranya popping out buat kakak-kakak? Terus kalau misalnya kakak-kakak bisa masuk ke jepretan ini semenit sebelumnya, mereka lagi ngapain sih? Terus semenit sesudahnya, apa yang terjadi? And then what is missing from the photo? And if there is something missing, what would you add to it? And then kalau if you like the photo, if you don't dislike the photo, if you dislike the photo, why is that? Kayak kenapa suka, kenapa nggak suka, dan kenapa gitu. And then what are the emotions and feelings and memories that come up for you? Jadi mungkin ada sesuatu yang akhirnya kayak, oh teringat, kayak aku tuh ngerasa warm loh, aku ngerasa hangat kalau ngeliat foto yang keberapa, gitu. Udah ada beberapa nih Lan yang pilih kartu.
Ya, kali ini banyak yang nomor 6 nih.
Coba nomor
Mungkin ada
6.
yang mau share? Ada Kak Julius nih.
Okay, 6 is presence, which I agree. Presence itu tadi ada Bu Eka. Bu Eka bilang it's being there to make someone else happy. Terus tadi ada Bu Nona
Kak
juga
Julius
pilih
nih.
nomor 6. Terus Kak Julius pilih nomor 3, fly. Itu ada gambar orang walking on a tightrope. Gitu ya. Kita akan sulit keluar dari masalah kalau terlalu mengasosiasikan diri dengan masalahnya. Untuk dapat keluar dari masalah, coba lakukan dissociated, seperti helicopter view orang yang berjalan di atas tali, fly. That's very true, actually. Being able to dissociate yourself from the problem sebenarnya benar-benar bisa ngebantu untuk solving the problem. I think this also ties back into what Rehan was asking earlier tentang kayak how do you get out when you know that it's not bringing you good. Sebenarnya salah satu cara yang kayak tadi Kak Julius cerita itu. Jadi gimana caranya kita bisa melihat masalah itu dari a helicopter view. Nah, dari situ kalau misalnya kita udah ngeluarin diri kita dari masalah tersebut, mudah-mudahan itu kita bisa melihat masalahnya dengan keseluruhan gitu.
Ya, mungkin Kak Julius mau share open mic nih. Barangkali kalau ceritanya sambil ngobrol gitu lebih enak. Atau mungkin kakak-kakak yang baru ikut bergabung ya tadi, beberapa kan ada itu ya. Barangkali mau coba sharing, nggak apa-apa banget. Di sini nggak ada yang benar, nggak ada yang salah ya, Bapak Ibu, kakak-kakak.
Kak
Semuanya,
Julius tadi udah open mic tuh, Lan.
oh boleh, ayo Kak Julius.
Sharing apa?
Sharing yang Pak Julius share nih di kolom chat. Nah, barangkali mau diceritakan secara langsung nih, melalui ngobrol secara langsung.
Share dikit-dikit aja ya.
Iya, boleh.
Seringkali yang membuat orang nggak bisa lepas itu karena dia looping masalahnya. Dia selalu cerita ngulang-ulang terus. Jadi kayak menjual penderitaan. Nah, dengan sering menjual penderitaan kan otomatis orang akan orangnya akan dapat atensi dari lingkungannya. Jadi di sisi lain juga yang membuat orang nggak bisa keluar katakanlah dari masalah lah ya secara umum, apapun itu entah toksik atau apapun itu. Karena kitanya pertama memang looping, senang menderita ya, dalam bahasa nggak enaknya senang menderita. Karena kalau saya nggak menderita, saya kan nggak dapat perhatian dari orang lain. Nah, makanya perlu coba kalau dari gambar 3 tadi, coba lihat dari atas. Ya, dari atas, kalau kita lihat dari helicopter view, kita akan lihat ke bawah tuh kecil. Ya tuh, dissociated. Coba keluar dulu dari masalahnya, keluar dulu dari pijakan kita. Intinya jadi orang ketiga dulu lah. Jadi bisa ngelihat dari sudut pandang yang lain itu seperti apa sih. Oh, ternyata tidak seberat itu gitu loh. Nah, memang buat berat kan karena kita terlalu senang ada di kubangan masalah itu. Itu aja. Thank you.
Oke, thank you Pak Julius. Menarik ya, Sep ya. Jadi sebenarnya
Menarik banget.
resource-nya itu justru kita sendiri yang suka ada di permasalahan itu gitu ya. Jadi permasalahannya kita pegang terus nih.
Benar. I think
Nggak bisa
that's
keluar.
very insightful juga sih, karena yang looping itu tadi Karena kita sudah biasa masuk di toxic
Hmm.
relationship yang pattern-nya tuh sama-sama aja.
Mm-mm.
Tapi mungkin kadang-kadang kita yang harus ngeluarin diri kita sendiri dari pattern itu gitu.
Hah.
Thank you so much, Pak Julius, for your sharing. Oke.
Ada yang mau sharing lagi barangkali? Satu lagi deh. Yuk, yang mau open mic. Pengen dengar suaranya nih. Bu Tuti barangkali mau share. Bu Wiwin mau share kah?
Aku lagi flipping through the people.
Oke, mungkin kalau belum ada kita next dulu. Jadi barangkali di next proses udah mulai ketemu nih polanya ya, Sabrina.
Oke, nanti kalau misalnya ada pertanyaan, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, and then nanti kita revisit lagi ya, gitu. Okay, so after we gather our resources tadi kan, kita tadi udah ngomongin kayak, oh maybe you could see the situation from a bird's eye view, or maybe sometimes you just need to be there for somebody else, which is right sebenarnya gitu. So one thing that these are the things that helped me during my recovery. Personally, like you can go online, bisa dicari-cari kayak gimana sih caranya kita switching ke recovery mode gitu. Cuma buat aku waktu itu yang ngebantuin adalah keeping myself busy. Sebenarnya kayak tadi kata Pak Julius, kalau misalnya dari toxic relationship yang buat aku waktu itu sebegitu beratnya, it is very easy for you to feel like kayak, oh, aku pengen looping, aku pengen di sini aja karena this is my safe space. This is the safe space that I know. Tapi sebenarnya waktu itu buat aku keeping myself busy was very important. Like meeting my friends, trying something new, atau misalnya bisa aja kayak going somewhere that you've never been before. Gitu, waktu itu aku sempat ke Bandung sama teman-teman aku. Terus sebenarnya what you need is actually a distraction from your problem. Sometimes that's just what you need to get yourself out of it. Dan keeping myself busy like misalnya waktu itu pilates lah, lari lah. Okay, if it works for you to move your body, do it. So that's one thing. Kedua is also taking the time to learn more about yourself. It's for me because I really lost myself in my relationship. I didn't know who I was, didn't know what I liked, down to the food that I ate. Kayak aku tuh lupa sebenarnya something that makes me happy adalah nasi sama ceplok telur aja. Tapi because I was with someone who was like everything needed to be over intellectualized, makanan needs to be perfect. Tapi enggak, sebenarnya nyatanya me myself, my identity as a chef is very different when I was with him versus me as a chef sekarang. Aku sekarang kalau lagi sedih aku masaknya ceplok telur, makannya pakai kecap bango, and that would bring me back to life. It can be something as simple as that. Gitu. And sometimes like I was the one that had to challenge my own cycle of self-blaming. Gitu, because sebenarnya that was all I knew gitu, kayak bahwa aku tuh yang salah. Sebenarnya kayak aku juga contribute kok to the toxicity of the relationship. Tapi I think getting yourself out of it tuh juga, is it really true or is it just your perception? Is it fact or is it perception? That's what I like to ask myself every single time I feel like I want to go back into my cocoon of self-blaming lagi gitu. Terus one thing is to learn who you are without them. You can go back to your old passions. Like for me, it was going back into listening to musical theater songs because he hated them, but I absolutely love them. It's something that simple, that shift gitu. Terus the next one is maintaining no contact. Like I am a firm believer in getting yourself out of the situation. You need to be able to just gak kontakan aja sama orang ini, siapapun itu. Dan kalau memang itu boundary yang susah banget dipotong, misalnya di tempat kerja. Kayak buat aku, karena kasus aku nggak bisa nih kayak block dia. Dan gimana caranya dari kita taking time to learn more about ourselves, itu kita bisa kayak, I am not who I am in that situation anymore, melainkan I am this new person, aku bisa detaching sekarang. Jadi no contact-nya mungkin bisa dalam bentuk seperti itu, gitu. And next, within your means, if it's within your means, is to seek professional help. Because if the situation is severe, like what I went through, I was verbally abused, physically abused. So going for professional help actually really helped me process the emotions that are really deep safely. Karena ya itu yang dari tadi cycle yang self-blaming itu, kalau misalnya mungkin aku nggak ke terapis, I will just be in that rut. Gitu. But one thing you need to remember is that the extent of your abuse does not matter. It can be little, it can be big, tapi what you need to know is that no one can speed up your healing. Only you can decide di titik apa you are okay. Jadi kayak nggak ada yang bisa bilang kayak, oh yeah, but you look fine. Kayak I look better than I was like 4 months ago when I came back to Jakarta. Tapi apakah proses aku sudah selesai? Mungkin belum. Gitu. Jadi thank you so much for holding my space juga dengan kakak-kakak sharing sama aku. Sebenarnya it makes me feel like you're holding my space also. Gitu. So next, I'd like to talk about like if you know someone who recently left their toxic relationship. Itu one thing to do is to be a supportive listener. You need to be able to validate their stories, recognize that it's real, and then know and understand that it's not easy for them to talk about it. Karena kalau misalnya kita balik lagi ke yang tadi ya, kayak kalau misalnya di toxic relationship tuh kadang-kadang yang bener sama yang enggak aja tuh belum tentu si orang ini tahu. Jadi buat kakak-kakak bisa bantuin mereka grounding bahwa kayak, oh kalian tuh kalau misalnya udah melewati sesuatu yang toxic, it's okay. Kayak everything is fine, sekarang you are safe. Gitu, it actually really aids them in their recovery process. And then yang tadi kayak aku udah bilang is respecting their timeline. Karena healing itu nggak linear, kayak maybe today I'm having a good day. Tapi misalnya tomorrow an email from my ex could come in and I'm suddenly not okay. I'm gonna cancel all my plans. And that's fine. That's what you need to realize, that the healing is not linear. Everybody moves at their own pace. Dan pace-nya cepet atau lambat, it's not for you to dictate. That's something that you need to remember. Jadi jangan pernah bilang sama orang kayak, oh ya tapi kayak lo sekarang udah oke kok. Gitu, kayak enggak. Karena itu sebenarnya enggak. For me, sometimes the problem is as real as it gets. Gitu. And the third one is to be consistent. Because I've lost a lot of people in my life during my relationship. Like I lost contact with a lot of friends, people who I thought were going to be at my wedding. Itu aku hilang semuanya. Dan ternyata pas aku balik itu aku punya circle pertemanan yang baru yang sebenarnya jauh lebih sehat dari yang aku punya sebelum itu. Gitu. Jadi they were there for me pas aku sedih, tapi pas aku senang juga mereka di situ. They never ever left my side when I needed them. And they're all here. Thank you so much for coming. Terus during my healing process, it actually really, really helped me because I was at a point where I cannot bear losing anyone lagi. Gitu. Jadi buat aku tahu that somebody is there to catch me every time I fall, itu ngebantu aku banget. And then next is also to, if possible, to guide them towards professional help. Tapi satu yang harus diingat adalah you cannot force anyone to seek professional help. Jadi kayak kalau misalnya orang itu belum siap, jangan dijorokin ke situ. Karena itu bisa aja again kita balik lagi ke poin yang dari yang slide yang sebelumnya itu you're gonna alienate them further, which is something you don't want to do. Karena mereka udah merasa alienated, kenapa kamu mau kayak ngejorokin mereka lagi? Malah mereka yang tadinya di relationship sebelumnya itu mereka dikontrol, mereka di guilt trip. Terus kalau kamu melakukan hal yang sama dengan itu, that's not good. Kayak you're not a good support system. Jadi never ever force anyone to seek professional help. But what you can do is slowly guide them. And what you can do is show them what resources are available. If they want to take it, then they can take it at their own time, their own accord. Kalau tidak, what you can do is just be consistent, be there. That's all they need. So, Ellen, I'm gonna take them to their next process, our third and last one, and which is kita menutupi sesi dengan ini, teman-teman, hari ini. Jadi, who will I be when I let go of a toxic relationship? I ask this question myself because I am not 100% recovered from what happened to me. So I invite everyone who's here to also check in with themselves and see what that might look like when they have let go of a toxic relationship. Jadi sama kayak yang tadi, aku juga udah pilih 6 kartu. Dari 6 kartu ini bisa dipilih, atau kalau misalnya kakak-kakak punya deck faces, mungkin bisa dipilih dari situ juga. Gitu. So again, kita lihat lagi kartunya. Detailnya ada apa aja sih? Terus ekspresi muka orang-orang ini itu seperti apa? Sebenarnya apa sih yang di pikiran mereka? Dan kalau misalnya kakak-kakak ada di dalam foto itu, misalnya berdiri sebelah mereka atau di depan mereka, kira-kira apa yang mereka apa yang mereka akan katakan kepada kakak-kakak? Terus apakah kakak-kakak suka dengan ekspresinya atau tidak? Kalau suka, kenapa suka? Kalau tidak, kenapa tidak? Terus di sini ada memori nggak yang kira-kira ada memori yang mengingatkan kalian tentang sesuatu that happened in the past? Banyak yang pilih 4 sama 6 nih, Lan.
Iya, benar.
Oke.
Ada yang mau share? Bu Wiwin nih, yuk Bu Wiwin, barangkali mau share. Atau mungkin boleh juga ya Sabrina, misalnya teman-teman mau share proses waktu ngedampingin coachingnya, gitu. Itu juga boleh. Atau mungkin waktu di lingkungan kerja nih, punya teman rekan kerja yang dia bikin jadi toxic relationship nih. Kayak gitu. Boleh juga ya sharing pengalaman bertemu seseorang yang ada di posisi ini atau mendampingi gitu ya. Jadi nggak selalu mesti harus tentang diri sendiri kan ya Sabrina ya.
Benar.
Oke, thank you. Saya mungkin mau sharing sedikit ya.
Boleh Bu Wiwin,
Thank you.
silakan.
Thank you Kak Ellen, Coach Sabrina. Jadi kalau saya sharing lebih kepada pengalaman mendampingi klien saya, kebetulan saya konselor. Ketika seseorang di toxic relationship, kebetulan waktu itu di kantor ya yang saya dampingi, memang
seseorang itu ciri-cirinya seperti tadi yang Coach Sabrina sampaikan ya. Yang diserang itu adalah jati diri dia tanpa sadar gitu ya, sehingga lupa dengan dirinya dan memang perlu safe place kita untuk mendengar, memvalidasi apa yang dia rasa sehingga akhirnya dia menemukan kepercayaan diri bahwa oh ternyata yang saya alami ini patut saya rasakan dan dengan grounding tadi istilahnya ya dia akan lama-lama melihat dirinya kembali pelan-pelan berani menemukan yang dia suka as simple as seperti tadi sharingnya dengan makanan yang dia suka atau just doing activity yang reguler mungkin rebahan atau ngopi di sofa rumahnya gitu akhirnya dia menemukan keberanian untuk menemukan jati dirinya kembali pelan-pelan. Dan memang betul sekali kita tidak bisa memaksa, tetapi kita mendampingi dengan percaya bahwa dia pelan-pelan akan menemukan gambar dirinya. Itu sih dari sesi hari ini. Saya dapat banyak ya. Saya diingatkan bahwa terus mengapresiasi sekecil apapun langkah dia menemukan dirinya, karena dengan kepercayaan diri itu dia akan yang nantinya energi yang biasa dia hold untuk satu sisi dia kayak berperang kan dia nggak menjadi dirinya tetapi nggak punya daya gitu itu ketika dia realize dirinya dia akan punya kapasitas untuk growth nantinya dia akan berkembang menemukan gambar diri yang lebih utuh lagi itu sih thank you untuk sesi malam ini Coach Sabrina thank you
Thank you,
Kak
Kak
Ella.
Wiwin. That was actually very insightful. I think coming from someone yang apalagi nggak pernah melewati itu. I'm so glad this helped you. I didn't think there would be anyone. Anyway, aku mau sharing sebenarnya ada beberapa in the comments that was very that jumped out to me. Gitu. Like one of it is from Sari. She picked card number 4. Jadi itu kan ada ibu-ibu rambutnya udah abu-abu. She feels what Sari said is that is how happy I want to be and I deserve to be. Life is too short to let someone hurt you. As you grow older, you realize you don't want to waste time being hurt. Benar, teman-teman. Jadi sebenarnya kalau kita as a bystander bisa ngebantuin gimana sih kayak rasanya kalau misalnya ini tuh udah dilepas gitu. Jadi if you are struggling and you are still in that bubble, what I'm hoping this question will help you reflect is that kayak sebenarnya there always something that you can hold on to, something that you can look forward to when you already like slowly process what you're going through in a toxic relationship. Bener kayak tadi kayak kata Kak Wiwin, gitu sebenarnya kita bisa membantu misalnya teman-teman coach kita atau mungkin teman-teman kita sendiri untuk apa sih sebenarnya jati diri lo sebenarnya di luar toxic relationship itu. Gitu. Sebenarnya teman-teman kita tuh sebenarnya pengen diingetin aja. Kayak aku tuh dulu pengen banget diingetin doang bahwa kayak I am so much bigger than what I was going through. Gitu kayak karena I didn't remember it myself. I didn't remember who I was. Tapi kayak because of my friends, because of everyone that was there for me, like I was able to ground myself lagi, balik lagi ke square one. Tapi it's important to remember misalnya the square one that you go back to mungkin bukan titik nol yang awal sebelum you were in a relationship. Jadi it's okay untuk menerima bahwa sebenarnya I am here. I went through this. I went through so much pain. I went through this kind of healing. But now I am Sabrina, but better. Like I've learned so much at this point. And that's what you need to remember juga if you are going through something like this. Gitu. Okay, is there any questions? Let me see. Ellen, is it okay if I answer a question?
Oke, nggak apa-apa. Ini ada dari
Okay.
Katia ya, tapi belum terjawab sepertinya, Sab.
Yeah. Okay, so Katya asked, like, did I ever feel ashamed of myself? If so, what helped me, and how do I feel with embarrassment after, especially when I feel like I was alone and have no reliable sources to go to at that time? Malu iya ya, because I was really close to my family. Like, I was very close to my mom. Gitu, kayak we were best friends. Like, we were mother and daughter. And we still are. I love you. But I was actually ashamed karena I feel like I should have made a better decision for myself, gitu. And what helped me was actually my friends, karena I'm quite an extroverted person. Dan pas teman-teman aku akhirnya bisa validate bahwa what I went, like I wasn't crazy for feeling what I was feeling. I wasn't crazy for trying to get out. And I think, sorry, let me go back to the question. Yeah. And I think like because I was alone, aku akhirnya bisa appreciate having somebody else there. And I don't think I was ever really alone gitu, kayak I did have friends that I was fortunately never really alone because I did have friends that were able to speak to me in code. Like, jadi pas aku sama mantan aku dan the situation was not safe, she would make the text message about her relationship with when she was actually talking about mine. Gitu. Jadi itu sebenarnya dari sebelum I was leaving, I was already processing the embarrassment, the feeling alone, and I think it was very nice to have someone that could listen to me. Gitu. And kayak again, my grounding was Lady Gaga, man. She literally saved me like twice in my life. So like my resource was not just my friends, but also the music that I listened to when I felt like I was at my lowest. I hope that answers your question. Okay. And toxic relationship di dunia kerja dengan manajer toxic bisa resign karena cuma bermasalah dengan orang itu aja. Okay, this is very like Ellen, can you help me translate in English?
Oke, berarti ini Kak Christine maksudnya toxic relationship dalam dunia kerja
Okay.
dengan manajer yang toxic ya. Jadi yang nggak bisa resign ini ke Kak Christine-nya ya. Bener gitu kah Kak Christine? Nggak bisa resign karena cuman bermasalah dengan orang itu aja. Nah, mungkin kalau dari aku ya, karena ini di dalam dunia pekerjaan
Mm-mm.
dan hanya dengan manajernya yang toksik. Nah, mungkin Kak Christine bisa coba tuh kayak tadi kan Sabrina udah ngajak kita explore dengan apa sih resource yang sebenarnya Kak Christine punya. Terus juga eh, bisa dikomunikasikan apa sih yang sebenarnya bikin jadi nggak nyaman relationship antara Kak Christine dengan manajernya yang toksik itu gitu. Dan barangkali juga justru bisa sharing dengan rekan di pekerjaannya untuk menjadi support listener gitu. Jadi walaupun ada di hubungan yang toksik itu, tapi Kak Christine sendiri merasa, oh aku punya support system kok di sini gitu. Jadi nggak merasa gimana ya, nggak merasa terlalu terbebani.
Sendirian gitu ya.
Iya, karena kan nggak bisa resign juga karena hanya bermasalah dengan orang itu aja gitu. Jadi barangkali ada justru bukan karena manajer yang toksik, tapi mungkin ada komunikasi yang kurang benar kayak gitu. Kayak gitu Kak Chris.
And I think one thing juga yang tadi yang kayak Pak Yulius sudah sharing ya, untuk detaching dari masalah itu,
Ya.
ya kan? Karena mungkin dengan Kak Christine bisa melihat masalah itu dari bird's eye view, like out of the situation, itu bisa membantu Kak Christine untuk uh, melihat bahwa masalah itu sebenarnya nggak harus include kakak kok. Kayak kakak bisa kerja aja, manajernya mau toxic ya toxic aja, tapi aku udah nggak mau terhasut lagi gitu. Okay, one more question before we go into our last thoughts of the day. So it's from Akila. General question for toxic relationships. It's non-specific. How can we actively establish healthy boundaries and how can we go about maintaining them? I think what helped a lot for me was learning how to say no. Karena what got me into the situation in the first place was because I didn't know how to say no. Jadi aku yang selalu letting people cross my boundaries when actually I was feeling very uncomfortable. And I think one thing that you need to remember and understand is that if somebody does not understand you when you are when your boundaries are being crossed, that means that that person is probably not worth it juga. Kayak masa kamu udah bilang enggak terus, dan dia masih terus-terusan kayak mau nerobos your boundaries, then you already know that that person is not healthy for you. And how can you go about maintaining them is to constantly ground yourself. And if, say for me, my friends were my resource, like how do I know that I am keeping the right people around me? Not people who are always affirming me even if I'm wrong, but also people who are there for me when I'm doing something wrong and would help me. So maintaining them is also checking your resources, but also checking in on yourself, whether this person or whatever you are doing is working for you. I hope that answers your question, Akila. Okay, so next we are going to our wrap up,
Yes.
our focus, and our doing. So we've gone through 3 questions today about your current situation. We go into your resources and we are going into siapa sih kalian when you get out of this toxic relationship. So, what I would like to invite everyone to do is to answer these 2 questions to close off the session. So, what is the most significant insights of the process? Kita kan tadi sudah berproses bareng-bareng ya kakak-kakak. Jadi, apa sih yang paling signifikan, poin yang paling signifikan buat kakak-kakak? Terus, kalau misalnya tadi udah ada resources, udah kebayang kakak-kakak di luar ini tuh menjadi seperti apa. So what can you do? Apa yang paling realistis for you to do in the next 24 hours? Dan ingat ya, doing ini tidak harus sesuatu yang besar. Yang kayak tadi aku bilang, doing itu bisa something very simple gitu. Bisa simple, bisa dengerin lagu aja, bisa taking time to be silent with yourself gitu. Masukin di kolom chat aja ya, kakak-kakak.
Boleh. Di kolom chat, signifikan insight apa yang didapat malam hari ini dan action atau doing apa nih yang mau dilakuin dalam waktu 1 kali 24 jam ke depan. Gitu ya, Kak Sep. Atau
Yes,
mungkin ada
betul.
yang mau open mic lagi juga nggak apa-apa loh. Pengen dengerin nih suaranya dari teman-teman. Dari Pak Simon mungkin, Bu Rosna, Bu Feida, Bu Vivit, Bu Irin juga boleh. Atau Kak Idar nih, Kak Idar juga yang di area ini ya, apa, corporate. Siapa tahu punya cerita serupa nih. Hmm, apa nih next to do-nya dalam waktu 24 jam? Sharing is caring, kakak-kakak. Nah, siapa tahu dengan sharing di sini kita bisa support ya, Sabrina ya.
Oh, betul,
Kita
betul.
bisa
Please,
support.
you have my contacts.
Ya,
Please reach out to me if you feel like, you can't share here. That's fine too. Tadi Kak Vivit ngebilang kayak last but not least, forgive ourselves. Right. That is Very important. Very, very important. Karena who you are in the relationship mungkin is not who you, no, not mungkin. You is very different from your healthy self. And you need to remember that. Benar. Forgive yourselves. Kalau kata Nilam, boundaries. Benar, itu benar banget. Going back to tadi what Akila asked juga kan, how do we maintain healthy boundaries? Itu like, and now we know like how important it is to be able to maintain that. Sebenarnya itu untuk jaga diri kalian sendiri gitu. Terus kata Bu Amel, nggak jadi toxic ke diri sendiri. Bener sih, bener banget. Nggak boleh toxic ke diri sendiri karena the best resource that you have is yourself. So like if you want to hurt something, just break a plate or rip a piece of paper. Don't hurt yourself. And then like mungkin aku yang sharing kali ya, Ellen, kayak what I want to
Boleh, boleh,
do.
Kak.
In the next 24 hours, I wanna ground myself. Karena aku ngerasa agak ngawang. Jadi I wanna find time to eat something I like, cook something I like, and I'm gonna ground myself. Thank you Kak Wiwin, thank you Rehan. Rehan said, semoga diberikan kesehatan untuk banyak manusia di bumi ini yang sedang menukar rasa lelahnya dengan keinginan hidup yang lebih baik. Yeah, we just want to be better, right? Everyone wants to be better. And then, Kasani, thank you. Be brave to say no, bener. Bener banget. So before I move on to my next slide to end things off, I would like to say thank you to everyone for holding my space, for letting me listen to your problems juga and how you feel about toxic relationships. You guys are actually helping me through my own process as well. It hasn't been easy. It has been like that, apalagi kakak yang udah ikut SOR sama aku. We know how difficult it was, but thank you so much for being here tonight. My friends from everywhere is here tonight. Thanks for your support. And before I end things off, I would like to end with a quote. So the quote is, after going through this process, ya kakak, the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. But also remember that your actionables can be as small and as minute, as realistic as what you can do within your own means. Gitu. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you again, everyone, for being here at my session today. You can reach out to me through my email, or you can reach out to me through my Instagram. I am here for everyone if you would like to ask about toxic relationships. Thank you, Ellen, for hosting this.
Yay, thank you Sabrina. Aku lihat-lihat nih dari tadi banyak banget loh yang kasih emoticon Sabrina. Rame banget malam hari ini ya. Nah tuh banyak banget kan. Masih ada yang kasih-kasih love. Tepuk
Thank
tangan.
you, guys. Lucu banget sih.
Oke,
Yo.
thank you. Nah, semoga Bapak Ibu tadi kita udah berproses bareng ya. Kita melihat lagi sebenarnya apa sih yang jadi tanda-tanda kita dalam fase toxic relationship ya. Kembali lagi ini bukan hanya soal pasangan ya, tapi bisa juga di area pertemanan, pekerjaan, seperti yang kakak-kakak dan Bapak Ibu sharing tadi. Ada juga yang dalam pekerjaan ya, pertemanan gitu ya. Dan semoga resource-resource yang udah kita gali pada malam hari ini juga bisa jadi apa ya, pegangan buat kakak-kakak semuanya. Dan tadi yang udah menuliskan dan sharing next to do-nya dalam waktu 1 kali 24 jam, semoga bisa segera terlaksana ya. Kalau misalnya boleh juga, kalau misalnya udah terlaksana, boleh share ke Sabrina gitu ya, atau story di sosmednya, terus tag ke Sabrina, boleh banget ya Sabrina. Tuh.
Boleh,
Oke,
boleh.
oke, thank you. Mungkin Kak Sabrina bisa bergantian share screen-nya dulu.
Oke, boleh.
Ya,
Take over, Ellen.
oke, thank you. Nah, tadi kan sudah berproses bareng. eh Mau ngingetin lagi nih reminder buat kakak-kakak, bapak ibu yang tadi kita udah mengolah toxic relationship. Nah, di tanggal 24 sampai 25 mau reminder lagi kita akan ada coaching festival Live the Compass. Nah, di sini juga sebenarnya di prosesnya ini ada juga loh ya, maksudnya yang berhubungan sama toxic relationship karena kayak tadi kan ada yang brave to say no gitu ya, berani bilang tidak gitu. Nah, di sini juga kita akan diajarkan untuk gimana sih mengambil keputusan gitu ya dalam masa-masa penting, momen-momen penting di hidup kita. Dan kita juga belajar dari samurai ya, bagaimana kita tetap kuat, kita bertahan di keadaan yang mungkin nggak pasti gitu ya, atau mungkin yang gonjang-ganjing gitu ya, atau bahkan mungkin toxic relationship itu sendiri. Nah, di coaching festival kita akan bereksplor gitu ya dengan, eee, materi-materi yang akan disampaikan oleh fasil-fasil yang keren-keren ini gitu ya. Ada Ici, Raymond, dan juga Jennifer. Mungkin teman-teman Trap yang sudah lama gitu ya di Points of View pasti kurang lebih tahulah ya Ici, Jennifer gitu. Jadi kita akan reuni juga, di coaching festival. Buat yang mau tahu detailsnya seperti apa, boleh langsung connect ke Putri, bisa scan barcode yang ada di layar atau klik link yang ada di kolom chat ya. Oke, nah kita juga ada jadwal akademi di bulan Oktober di tanggal 26. Kita ada level 1 Hello Point Workshop buat teman-teman yang baru bergabung dan tertarik nih. Wah, toolsnya kayaknya menarik nih. Aku pengen bikin workshop pakai tools ini juga. Sepertinya membantu gitu ya, biar lebih efektif. Boleh langsung connect juga ke Kak Putri karena di tanggal 26 Oktober kita akan belajar lebih dalam bagaimana penggunaan tools dan metode seperti pada malam hari ini yang sudah dibawakan Kak Sabrina. Teman-teman yang sudah level 1 boleh juga kalau mau reset ya, atau mau level up ke level 2 kita ada di bulan Desember. Plot dulu waktunya, plot dulu jadwalnya ada di tanggal 19 sampai 20 Desember. Seperti itu. Nah, buat teman-teman yang juga mau tahu lebih dalam tentang tools points of view, bisa connect Kak Putri tadi ya. Boleh mau cobain toolsnya dulu, boleh juga. Boleh kalau mau langsung ikut workshopnya, silahkan ya. Nah, kita juga ada buku coaching gitu ya, coaching series. Nah, teman-teman yang mungkin kayak tadi Kak Sabrina ya, dia pakai, framework-framework gitu ya. Nah, di buku Eee, Empowering Coaching Framework ini juga banyak banget framework-framework yang bisa kita pakai ya, bisa langsung diaplikasikan. Buku ini juga kumpulan dari, framework-framework teman-teman yang sudah berproses di, menggunakan points of view gitu ya. Jadi bisa banget dipakai, khusus malam hari ini, eee, cuman harganya 149.000 bisa dapat 2 buku. Langsung aja connect ke Mbak Ayuli, eee, link-nya juga akan di-share di kolom chat ya. Oke, nampaknya itu. Thank you ya Sabrina, buat sesinya malam hari ini. Jangan lupa bulan depan kita tetap ada sesi uplifting session, kakak-kakak, bapak, ibu. Ditunggu aja informasinya, nanti akan di-share oleh tim kami ya. See you di next session kita. Selamat istirahat semuanya.
Good night, everyone. Thank
Thank you
you.
Sabrina,
Great
thank you
job,
Bapak Ibu.
Chef.
Selamat malam.
Malam.
Bye. Kak Novi, thank you.
Thank you.
Bukyok, thank you.
Thank you, Bugyo, for coming. Ah, you.
Dari airport ke rumah.